And now it's time to meet our guest Latré-Kayi Lawson-Hogban in Lomé. This FIFA referee instructor, dubbed the Iron Lady, rightly supports the rise of young female referees. But before that, she was a young professional confronted with a very masculine reality of the game, which she managed to bypass. She made refereeing a profession in which women now have their rightful place. She spoke to our journalist Parfait Agboste about how she got started. Take a look.
Hello, Mrs. Latré-Kayi Edzona.
Bonjour, Monsieur Parfait.
You were the first woman in Africa to become a FIFA referee instructor and the first woman to be a member of the referees committee at the Confederation of African Football (CAF). Does being the first define you?
Bon, première, oui. C'est vrai que je suis première.
Yes, indeed, I'm first in a lot of things. It has to be said that the word me can be irritable, but I'm a pioneer of Togolese refereeing and a pioneer of instruction at the CAF level.
De la CAF. As you
said, I was the first woman to become a FIFA instructor in Africa and the first member of the CAF referees committee. This happened thanks to an interesting encounter. It was in 2004 I took part in the Third World Conference on Women in Sport, where at the end of a plenary session I met the former president of the CAF, Dr. Issa Hayatou. He was the CAF's fifth president. And I approached him even though I was already retired as a referee and asked him, would it not be a good idea for us former referees to become match commissioners and instructors? So he said to me, Madam, we are in the process of promoting women at the IOC level. So if your federation writes to me, it should work in theory. That's what he told me. So when I returned from this mission where I took part in this Third World Conference on Women in Sport as Togo's delegate, because I was an advisor to the executive committee of the Togo National Olympic Committee. So on my way back, I reported to the former president of the federation, Colonel Roch Nassimbe, who instructed his general secretary, Mr. Asogbavi Espoir, to send a note to the CAF as requested by its presidents. This was done, and the letter came back saying that the Togolese Football Federation already had its quota of match commissioners because each national association is entitled to 2 match commissioners at the CAF level.
What did you do then?
So I met the president again. I told him no, the CAF president had asked for a separate list aside from none. So the general secretary rewrote the text, and that's when the CAF issued a memo to all the national associations asking them to appoint female match commissioners. This was done in 2005, and an invitation to a regional training was sent to Algeria, and the CAF specified both men and women. Because it was challenging to be in a male environment, and at the time when the internships came, it was the men who went. And now, thanks to the memo sent, I was eligible to go with my colleague to this regional training program, and I ranked 3rd in the program and had my CAF referee instructor diploma. So it started from there that women joined the CAF training scheme as match commissioners and referee instructors. At the time, I was alone, but today there are plenty of women match commissioners and referee instructors.
Is this something important in the profession?
Yes, it's a signal, an important one, because personally I love football. It was my great passion. I didn't want to do anything except football, and I realized that I was perhaps going to keep this passion and know-how that I wouldn't transmit to my younger peers. So the chairman understood half-heartedly and agreed. I want to say a big thank you to him today, because perhaps I wasn't going to sound the alarm, and we would be here today still begging for a place for women in refereeing and administration.
What do you think women can bring to sports and to the refereeing discipline in particular?
Yes, I would say that football and refereeing as a sport is educational, and we know that educating our children is largely the responsibility of women. So a woman who is a sportswoman can only pass on good education to her child and her offspring. Because a woman can be self-sufficient with sports, she can share this passion and pass it on to her children. Women of character, not a bad character of course, but someone who asserts herself. Sport helps women to do that, as a woman to find her place. So this sport is more educational. And then it's also cultural because it brings people together. It's relational because we come up against many authorities in our sporting environment. You see, there are lots of advantages in this sport of refereeing or refereeing instruction.
How are African referees trained?
In Africa, there's training at the national level, in the national associations, then information at the CAF level, and training at the FIFA level. So at the CAF level, there are several selections in several categories of referees, as there are in any association. There are promotional referees, young talent referees, Elite B referees, Elite A referees, and professional referees. So each entity has its training program, and there are demotions and promotions. Now, at tournaments, that is the African Cup of Nations, the Champions League, etc., when we reach the quarterfinals, the selection of the cream of the crop is done, and they are trained to continue the matches from the quarterfinals onwards. At the CAN level, there are training sessions that last a week to 10 days, to get these referees up to speed before the tournament. This is done in every category. The same thing is done at the FIFA level. When FIFA selects its referees for various tournaments, they are also trained before the tournament.
What qualities are essential for a young player to become a referee, and what advice would you give her?
Oui, nous avons au total 3 qualités, si j'ai bonne mémoire. Il y a la qualité morale.
You have to master the principles of the game, of course. You have to be physically fit to run. You have to have an acceptable moral quality to avoid corruption and so on.
Être physiquement apte pour pouvoir courir et avoir une qualité morale acceptable pour éviter.
You have to be impartial about the match. If you're not impartial, you don't have good moral qualities.
As a senior referee, what one piece of advice would you give a young female football fan aspiring to become a referee?
First, I would say that they have to be passionate about what they are doing. Without passion, if you're not passionate about what you're doing and just because someone is doing it so you will want to do it, no. They have to be passionate about it, and when you want to do arbitration, you have to do it well. That means, as I said, having the moral quality, the physical quality, and the intellectual capability. And when they get into it, they need to know that this sport can feed them and that they need to devote themselves to it to reach the professional level. Because in any entity, you're always looking to evolve. You're not looking to put yourself down.
Ms. Lawson-Hogban, your personal career is quite remarkable. What are your earliest memories of football?
Merci. Je dirais que
my earliest memories are of playing street football, which means recreational football, because when my father died, I was taken to Bijenga, 30 kilometers from Dapong, with my older brother. I was the only girl in the school from elementary to grade 3, so I had to play with the boys. I was on holiday and a goalkeeper. That was when I developed a taste for football. When I left primary school, I went to the Nasable secondary school, and the sport had disappeared for the girls, so I took up other disciplines. But along the way, my older brother, the late Lawson-Hogban, became a FIFA referee, and because I loved football, I used to go to the pitch. And as soon as he finished refereeing, when he came home, I turned to an instructor for his debriefing. And one day he was nervous, you know, when you have played 90 minutes and it's still not easy to be very cheerful. He said to me, "You know refereeing so well, so why don't you go?" So that's when I got into refereeing, and that's when I started in 1991.
What triggered your interest in refereeing?
It was a challenge from my late brother that got me into refereeing. It took me a long time afterwards, but I said to him, "I'm going to prove to you, yes. I'm going to prove to you that I can referee too."
Have you discovered any special features related to women refereeing?
Yes, it used to be the exclusive gender, but that has now disappeared because we see women at major matches at the CAF and national association levels. We've seen women at the World Cup, and just as the game's laws are universal, refereeing today has also become universal. Gender is no longer an issue.
Do you see any particular difficulties or benefits in being a female referee?
To answer your question, the benefits outweigh the difficulty, and we know that football has long been reserved to men. In Pierre Coubertin's time, women were there to applaud the skill of the men. So it's only now that we've arrived on the scene, or the pitch, if you prefer. It's perfectly normal for us to have difficulty integrating in the men's world. But if you have this passion, you can smartly, really intelligently banish these constraints and feed your passion. There are cultural, religious and social constraints, all of which block the development of women. And you know that in our circles people say that women are an inheritance left to us by our parents, which is now creating problems for us. They say that women were born to stay at home, and people find it strange that a woman should be running around the field or the pitch when she should be in the kitchen. So you see, you'll hear all kinds of things of swearing, and if you're not brave, you'll throw in the towel. And that's not the case for a woman who knows what she wants. As I said, the upsides are more relational, financial, cultural and educational. What a woman learns, she always passes on to her offspring, and with passion and character, you'll see that the children of sportswomen are better educated than other women. That's a reality. But these children are better educated because these women pass on better values to their offspring.
Since 2021, you have been an honorary member of the African Sports Forum. In this regard, what evolution have you observed?
Yes, honorary member, I'd like to thank the ASF here, and it's a continuation of the other honors that have been bestowed on me. I have already been made a Knight of the National Order of Merit at the state level. I received the Wani Prize in the years 2000, and the ASF is honoring me by making me an honorary member of this forum. I'm at their disposal to make my small contribution to the development of sports. Having said that, during the sporting activities at Golf 7, I was invited to a round table. After the round table, at least 6 or 7 girls signed up simultaneously for the refereeing course. So they are doing a good job, and I wish them all the best.